truth, otherwise take a knee. Made it to the league, now we gotta take the lead. Touchdown, Mycole Pruitt. Sports Now, I'm Ahmad, Hicks. Must be two sides.
What's going on, Must Be Two Sides family? Welcome back into another edition of the Must Be Two Sides podcast. I'm your boy, Mycole Pruitt, alongside my boy, Ahmad Hicks, in spirit, not physically, but you know.
Look, we
Yeah,
still here. We still thugging. You feel what I'm saying? But look, it's been a grind, bro. We've been working hard, staying up late, trying to get y'all these episodes, trying to dish out this content. So we appreciate y'all joining us and tuning in every week to what we're putting out. And we hope y'all share the content, pass it along to somebody, tell them to like, subscribe on YouTube. We need a couple more subscribers to get to where we want to be. So y'all go ahead and help us out. Now, speaking of working hard, staying up late, having a lot on their plate, I want to introduce another guest that we have for the second week in a row. We introducing another guest. Last week we had an athlete. I think it's only right that we have a journalist this week. So I want to bring in my brother, Theo Dorsey. He's a sports radio analyst right now down in Florida, West Palm Beach. Theo, thank you for joining us, my guy. I know you're busy right now. I know you're not even in Florida right now. You all over. So what's up, man?
I'm out in Houston right now. But what I will say is, one time for the journalists, y'all want to bring in Big Kendricks, and he's all cool, and he's got all the followers, but you know what? We got a little motion too, dog. I appreciate you having me pull up, man, and it's gonna be a good time.
Let's get it, man. I love it. I love the energy from the jump, man. Let's go.
Hey, so Theo, let's tap into what got you started in journalism. Take us back to when you first got started in television. Tell us how you got there and what that was like.
Man, dog, it was it's kind of crazy because, like everybody, when you want to have a career in sports, but my 40 time and my bench press ain't look nothing like Mycole's. I had to kind of take a bit of a pivot. But man, the first thing I fell in love with on this side of things was the storytelling aspect of it, and how you can kind of like paint pictures and really connect communities to the actual athletes that they love. So I went to journalism school at Hampton University. There, I did several internships like everybody. I was in the National Association of Black Journalists. I dipped my toe in every bit of sports journalism water I could, and that panned out into a TV career. My first job, Albany, Georgia at WAOB. I was a hybrid sports and news guy. So they had me covering Confederate flag rallies in 2016, which
tough.
I had a brother reconsidering. You know what I'm saying? But then also I elevated there and stayed there long enough to also be able to do a lot of great things, like cover the Masters multiple times, cover some big time SEC championships. Like I was there when Tua had actually supplanted Hurts, but then Tua got hurt and Hurts had to come in for the SEC championship and save the day. I was on the sideline for that one. And so many other things, man. 3.5 years in the game there, got some awards, had some fun, and then was in North Carolina for a year, an abbreviated tenure in North Carolina, left the industry, and then I've been at ESPN West Palm for about 5 years, man, since the pandemic in 2020. And it's been love. It's been love ever since.
Man, you seem like you've seen every side of the journalism world, man, just by your description just there. Man, what's been your favorite part of the journey, man?
Ooh, my favorite part of the journey has honestly been this past year and a half or 2 years since I launched Theoretically Speaking, my sports talk radio show that's 2:00 every day. And there's a freedom, and I'm sure Ahmad, you feel this, Mycole, you feel this. There's a freedom of being behind the mic and being able to engage and actually be yourself. So it's like almost, I look at it as like I'm engaging in conversation and I'm telling my story through my perspective every single day. Whereas I spent the first 8 years of my career telling everybody else's story and being, TV sports anchor, button up, suited and booted like you see Ahmad Hicks every night in Minneapolis. I loved it. I loved it, right? But that wasn't me being me. That was me being a conduit of information. This is a lot different. So this along with the way I'm able to engage with the community in South Florida, I do the Fan Fest tailgate ahead of every Orange Bowl out there. I'm the in-arena host for Boca Raton Bowls. I do a lot of emceeing and engagements. Those are the things that make it worthwhile. And it's definitely different, dog, being behind the mic. I'm sure both of y'all know too, doing this show. you really spill out a lot of stuff you didn't really mean to do when that mic is just hot. Like
That's what I wanted to ask you about, Theo. Like, how did you transition into radio? Like, what was that like? Did you have any doubts or concerns before you went over there, knowing that your history was in television and you were kind of approaching an unknown?
No, they forced me. I didn't try. No, they said you was too ugly, bro.
Nah, they ain't do you like that.
No, it all kind of started with this tweet. One of our drive time hosts at the time tweeted something out, and I thought he was being a little disingenuous. So me being I like to take it there sometimes. I tweeted back at him in a way that he didn't like. So then he said, "Nah, you got to come join my show." And that's where it started with where I started kind of like joining some of the local shows that we had here. And ever since then, I kind of like dipped my toe further and further into it, and I kind of fell in love with it. And about a year and a half ago, we actually stopped our partnership with that TV station. So we no longer was going to have TV. Simultaneously, ESPN West Palm was like, hey, we want to launch a digital product where you still do all the things you were doing for TV, but it's just going to be on YouTube and on our app and everything. And I said, well, is the pay going to be the same? Because
Got to make sure the bag right.
Absolutely.
I said, well, I can work with you. You work with me. And the good thing is, though, they were always great with me, and they had a vision for it. So when I stayed on, it was so I left the game of TV and I got straight into digital, which is where we all got to be anyways. But then eventually they had a whole turnover with all the radio shows, and they came to me and they said, hey, we would love for you to start a show on the platform, and we're going to eventually evolve it to 2 hours, and it's going to be a community-driven show. We're going to have this partner for you and this, that, and the third. And at first I kind of wanted to say no, because that's a tall task to ask a dude who's used to like reading off a teleprompter to speak into a mic for 2 straight hours every day with like no guidance, no background in it and everything. But at the end of the day, I was like, yo, is the pay the same? Because can I keep supporting my wife likes good dinner. She likes to take trips. Can I support this lifestyle that we have in South Florida? And they said, yeah. And I dove in it. And honestly, bro, it was scary. I went through a lot when I first started that show. I battled some demons within myself, because you have to pull so much out of yourself to be able to create this kind of content on a daily basis. But on the other side of that, and I'm still going through some of it, right? You're always evolving. On the other side of that, it's been so beautiful to see what I've been able to grow into, and what, theoretically speaking, and the good people that join us all the time have grown into it. It's probably one of the most, I would say, probably one of the biggest achievements I've done in my professional careers, because I also never believed I could.
Major.
Man, that's big right there, man. So you talk about how you got to go on for 2 hours a day, man, every weekday. Like, have you always been a very opinionated person? Like, how do you come up with something to talk about for 2 hours a day? Like, I feel like that is so long.
No, like, come on, man. Like, it's not real. It's, to me,
Right.
the people that jump behind the mic every day and they're always just fiery about something. I'm like, man, y'all faking it sometimes, dog. Like, I try to be as genuine as possible all the time with my content, because I feel like I can see through it when other people are like that. And it's difficult. It's there are a lot of days. I don't want to say a lot, especially not in football season, but in the summer times, it's a lot of times where it's like I only got about 4 or 5 headlines that would actually connect with my audience that I can talk about, that I can talk about intelligently, that I can give perspective on. But a lot of times it's like, this don't even really matter. Like, this if I were to be honest, like, we could spend all Wednesday talking about this, but you're not gonna care about this come Friday. You're gonna forget we even talked about it by the time you eat dinner tonight. Like, so there are times where you have to play up certain things, but we kind of chatted about it before we hopped on, and it's like those are the days in which I might not force the topic of the day if I know it's something fleeting that it don't really matter. I might then go to my notepad, scroll through, and find some of those things that I actually find intriguing, like some life topics, a conversation me and my wife had, something that I saw in one of the fellas' group chats or something like that. Like, I might drop one of those nuggets and then do like a whole 30 minutes on that, where people might say that's stupid because it's not, newsworthy and people might not care about it, but maybe I make somebody laugh on the ride home, like I remember one day we spent almost a whole hour talking about Stephon Diggs and Cardi B on that boat when he was over there passing around who knows what and kicking it. Hey, look, that was one of our best shows. That was one of our best ever producing YouTube pieces of content. So you just never know what's going to stick. You got to kind of get creative sometimes.
That's what they always say. It's the shows that you least expect to take off that be your big break. That get you more exposure and things like that. For you, you kind of touched on what my next question was going to be. Bro, how in the hell do you come up with content during the summertime when there's no NFL, no NBA? Like all there is baseball, and people don't want to hear baseball talk for 2 hours a day. So it's like, do you think that's a time when radio personalities start to maybe create narratives and hypotheticals about what's about to, happen during the season, and then those kind of gain, momentum, and then those become real stories that journalists are chasing?
Yes, and guess what I'm saying? Bring it on, more, please. It's funny though, Ahmad, and this is why I love what y'all are doing right here, right? Like y'all, because Mycole, because you are like an NFL vet, you're a guy that has, had the skin in the game. People care about what you got to say on a daily basis because of the sweat equity. And Ahmad, you as well with the college experience and whatnot. When y'all start these podcasts, guess what? I'm listening and I'm cutting stuff up and I'm gonna use it because it means a lot more. Like if Colin Cowherd has an idiotic take about something in the middle of the summer, we all know what he's doing. He's engaged in farming. He's trying to create a headline. He's trying to spark a debate on Twitter. But when we have like Tyreek Hill jumping on a bus with a streamer saying that Travis Hunter is gonna be trash, oh, that's content, and I'm leading with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep it coming. People look at players on podcasts as competition. I look at it as more content for me to react to. So I keep it coming.
I feel that.
100%. Ahmad, he kind of proving some of my points about these narratives that get spun and run.
Here we go.
There's a difference though. There's a difference. Like
Break it down for me.
To me, on this side of the game. So if you're talking more like beat reporters and breaking news people and people that are actually like writing
Theo
stories with sources, that's different than content creator or Stephen A or me, Theo Dorsey. It's different from me trying to spill out a hot take that will make people mad, happy, sad, elicit some kind of emotion. That's different.
Right.
So how do us as consumers of this news be able to separate you guys all out and not lump you all into the same group as this is the media and this is what the media has to say?
See, that's the problem. We got to stop saying the media. The media, because social media, you know what I'm saying? Anybody with an account is the media now.
Yeah.
I think that word is almost like when they try to make black people a monolith. Like one of the most beautiful things I ever learned when I went to Hampton University at HBCU after coming from a place, I grew up in Houston, where there are a lot of black folks that seem to assimilate to the same similar kind of archetype. I went to Hampton University, private school, Virginia, HBCU, kids coming from all across the nation, from St. Louis, Chicago, LA, a lot of Maryland, Florida, and everything like that. As you learn how varied everybody is, people come from these different backgrounds, they got these different interests, and we're so much not a monolith. I think the same thing for the media, like beat reporters, for the most part, at reputable outlets, for the most part, aren't just pulling stuff out of the tail. Like they actually are doing the work. They actually are going to the games. They're in the locker room. They're talking to players. They're talking to agents. They're talking to representatives from the teams. And a lot of times there's validity behind what they're reporting. I think that's the biggest delineation. Those guys I consider real, true journalists. It's knuckleheads like me that y'all got to watch out for because I'm not.
See, that's what I've been trying to tell Cole. Like, there's a difference, like, in the journalism world. Like, a lot of people who aren't familiar with it, they just group us all together. There's the media. Yeah. But, like, I tried to tell Cole the other day, you got sports network analysts, you got local broadcasters, you got columnists at newspapers, you got beat writers, and then you just got people who do day-to-day stuff. So it's like there's so many different entities within that. So that being said, though, what do you think the biggest problem is with the athletes and the way they treat the media and lump us all together for the true journalists that are actually doing the work?
Ooh, The biggest problem, see, it's hard for me to see it from their perspective, but the only way I can, and this is going to sound stupid, so stay with me though. The only way I can see it from the professional athlete's perspective is they tend to treat anybody like with a press pass or anybody that's media the way that I, as a teenager, treated anybody with a police badge. And I mean that with the all sincerity, and I say that as a person that is a member of the quote unquote media. It's like teams tell them that we are the problem and that we're going to get them in trouble. So that's already built up in their mind. They've seen it from other people, or they've had bad encounters with one person who was the media. So now they got to have their guard up at all times. And that is what they lead with. Plus, there are bad actors in every industry, and all it takes is one or two. And I understand why you would be guarded, because it doesn't help a professional athlete as much to be cooperative with the media in 2025 than it was in 1985 when they needed us more. So that's the way I look at it, is like when I can tell I'm being treated a certain way by athletes, coaches, or anybody that's part of sports because I'm the media, I remind myself the way I looked at people behind the police badge before I was able to actually meet them. And then eventually in life learn that there are some good cops, a lot of bad cops, a lot of bad cops, some good cops. And you can't judge somebody by the badge or the profession, but they're trying to protect themselves, man. So I got to understand.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't sound that stupid, man. That actually made a lot of sense.
I feel you. Well, it sounds stupid because I'm part of the media. So it's like, and I don't want y'all to feel that way, but I also understand, like, even I don't even want to pull that card because I'm a young black man, and a lot of the athletes we cover, Ahmad, are young black men.
Yep.
And I would hope that they can see me and assume at the very least, okay, I can let my guard down a little bit, but we all know some young brothers that ain't your brothers, and they try to get the quick come up, and
Yeah, man. We'll speak a little bit about the NA. What is it called?
NABJ.
NABJ.
NABJ conference that you guys met at, and how important that is in the journalism world, where it's so few minorities at, just like everywhere else.
Man, that's the family reunion. That is the
What does it stand for again?
National
the
Association.
National Association of Black Journalists. So it's been around since the 70s. Actually, this is the 50th year anniversary of the convention, and it's necessary because the representation for Black journalists, especially today, is going to need to be increased. But it's always been a need for people to be fighting on behalf of us and raising money to help fund people that are trying to break into the industry, their way into certain scholarships or their way into conventions so they can get to job fairs and whatnot. Like, it's like the number one connective tissue of all Black journalists in general, not just sports journalists, to stay together and to share opportunities. It's one of those stronger together kind of things. And convention every year that goes from city to city across the nation is, like I said, a family reunion. It's like homecoming, and it's necessary. Even when you're not looking for a job, you got to pull up so you can shake hands and share drinks and share stories of what the last year has been. So what is that? What would that be for the NFL? Is that like Super Bowl week? Like,
man, we don't have nothing like that. I mean,
I need to get some, man.
Right.
We do. I know lately, like, a lot of the position groups have been coming together. Like, we had the tight end university thing. That was pretty cool, where we all got together. Yeah, I went the first 2 years.
Okay,
it was a lot of fun.
Like?
It was good, man. A lot of the older guys got up and talked and did a little bit of football, but it was more so just fun. We was just vibing out, man, and it was good to just meet some of your peers and see that everybody really the same, man. So it was cool.
That's
you got a selfie with Taylor Swift, didn't you? That's what he buried the lead.
I don't think he went when Taylor was with Travis.
He wasn't. I didn't go. Taylor wasn't in the picture yet. Taylor wasn't in the picture yet. But I did vibe out pretty hard with Travis Kelce, man. So it was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure Travis has a good time. Look, I like echoing what Theo said. NABJ super important for us. That's where we met. That's where kind of like look, I'll be real. I'm in Minneapolis right now. There's not a lot of representation of us here. Like, when you talk about sportscasters, there's not many. Like, when I got here, there was 3 of us. By next January, there will be 1. it will be myself. Like, so it is extremely awkward sometimes when you walking in
You
them
can change
locker
that, by the
room.
way.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, it's awkward when you walking in the locker room and it's like, you the only one there. Like you look around, it's like, dang, like, all right, I'm in a room full of all white people. It can make you feel uncomfortable. And then you talk about my newsroom. I think we got 5 black people total. Now we got a couple of like different ethnicities and things like that, but it's like a majority of white people. So it's like you can kind of feel isolated. So a thing like NABJ is a thing that boosts your spirits every August. Like you go to that, people go be able to relate what you've been going through. They go be able to like, hey, this is my story. This is how I persevered. Stay with it. You get your motivation from there being around your brothers, your sisters. And it's like, it's beautiful, man. It's all black people dressed well every single day on the same mission, trying to make a bag, trying to take it to the next level. So I think it's necessary for us because honestly, if we didn't have NABJ or group chats, like, I mean, Theo, think about it. Like, how would we be helping each other to find stories to talk about what we're going through? Like, we would literally just have to rely on our family members. Like, that would be tough.
Yeah, especially those of us who like, 'cause, some of us got my pops was the executive producer at ABC for 8 years, and my uncle is like, for those of us that's not connected at all to the industry, that is our connective piece, and that is our fam, man. My mentors come from there, my mentees come from there. People have poured into me, and I poured back into the game as well. I ain't gonna lie, like it's definitely a beautiful thing, and it's not as cool maybe as kicking it with Travis Kelce and tight end you, but we have some fun as well. It's a good time.
I'm sure y'all do, man. I kind of just want to touch on something you spoke about earlier about how, having to sit down and really talk. Sometimes you might have to dig a little deeper, and you had to go through some things in order to really get to the point where you're at now. Like, do you mind speaking on maybe one or two of those things that you had to overcome to get to the point that you're at?
Yeah, there's I don't think imposter syndrome is the right word for it, but
Okay.
on the same day that I learned that he and some of my other teammates who I were working with on a daily basis at that time were no longer going to be working at the station, I also learned that I would be starting my own show.
Mhm.
And that came with mixed emotions because I'm like, dang, okay, so what does that mean for my brothers? And also, oh my, like, should I be celebrating? Did I grab a champagne bottle and pop that? What do I do? Do I act happy? Right after I was told that, I had to go into a meeting with all of our team and they announced it to everybody. And people are like, wait, did he Doc Rivers, buddy? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I didn't know how to feel about it. And I never been through anything like that in my life, in my career. So I carried that with me. I had a week between finding out and executing my initial show to make things shake.
Mm.
Once I do finally make things shake, mind you, again, young brother, no family around here. It's just me and my wife in South Florida, starting something that I'm a little uncertain about because, despite the confidence that I naturally have, there's a bit of doubt in the back of your head. It's like, okay, do I deserve this? Am I going to be good at this? And I start the show. And
Mhm.
naturally, it probably sucked. I don't know. I blacked out, like I don't know what the first month was like. But no matter how good or bad it was, there were people that were fans of the previous stuff that were flooding our timelines and mine specifically with a lot of negativity and hate
Mhm.
at a time where I already felt bad about being in the spot in the first place. So I'm like, man, mixed emotions, right? Young brother, don't like that that food has been removed off other people's table. Don't like that I don't have enough time to perfect what I want to be. This is my bread and butter. Theoretically speaking, it literally is. But it bestows my name. Like I
Right.
care about this. So there's so many mixed emotions, and then I'm getting all this hate. I'm getting love as well, though, from friends and family. But I know I'm gonna get love from them, so you don't know how to take that. And it's just weird. And that went on for months and months and months. Mind you, this is a sports talk radio show that we're trying to bake up in April, May, June, July. Like I'm starting to run out of stuff.
It's toughest time of the year to start a show.
Bro, when I tell you trial by fire, like
Yeah.
I'm going through it. But in the midst of that, mind you, too, like this would be like how you're tight end. This would be like in the middle of your career, 5, 6 years in, and you've been good at tight end your whole life. You were a well trained tight end. You've studied all the playbooks. You know what I'm saying? You know how to run your routes. You know how to block in line. You can spread out. You're the ultimate tight end. And then your coach is like, actually, we love you. We believe in you so much that we're gonna need you to be like a edge rusher for us. And we're gonna re-up your contract. And we know you can do it. We're gonna train you for it. We're gonna put you in the right positions, but you now need to learn edge rusher. And oh, by the way, week 1 of the regular season is like in 3 days. So like, let's roll. And that's kind of how. So, but here's the thing: you have the confidence in yourself, but like Mycole, like you also are used to being good at your job.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
When you get pancaked, you know, three snaps in, you like, dang, wait, hold a second, like I gotta get my wits about me again. And that's kind of how it felt. Like I was a rookie all over again, but I'm a veteran in my own professional mind, and I had to slowly build myself up into who I am now today, which is a person that is confident in what I say. I'm much more fluid with radio. I know how to get in the breaks, out of breaks. I know how to tease. I know how to deliver. I know how to, do live reads. I know how to execute in and around topics. I know how to make, except for right now, I know how to make concise points, you know what I'm saying? Fit into segments. So like, those are the things that I took for granted, or at least I didn't even know that I didn't know how to do. And I had to learn them on the job in public with an audience that was trying to figure out if they liked me or not. As I'm trying to figure out whether I like it or not, what I'm doing, it was crazy.
Right.
I was going insane. But hey, look, hopefully it didn't show.
Hey, you doing your thing right now. Like I said, I watch you. I tune in. I'll never forget last year before we went to NABJ in Chicago, I'm like messaging him. We trying to figure out like our boat trip. Like, we trying to get on Lake Michigan and all this stuff. And I'll never forget, I'm texting Theo, I'm texting Jalen, I'm texting our guy Jordan. And I'm like, yo, everybody responding about the boat, how much it's gonna cost, and Theo not responding. And I'm like, Theo, I know your ass ain't doing nothing, like responding to this message and stuff like that. He literally calls me out on his radio show, and I'm like, brother is smooth. Like, brother is smooth. He like, my homie just texted me talking about, Theo, I know you ain't doing nothing. I'm on live radio right now, man. Like, dang. I'm like, the brother is so smooth. Like, you can't even tell he hasn't been in radio. So mad props to you and how quickly you've gotten adjusted to that. That shows how creative you are, though, like how you're able to get in and out, because somebody who is a beginner, they're not looking at their text message and saying stuff like that when they starting out a radio show. Like, they're not able to juggle all that. Like, people don't understand what really goes into the production of a show and how you got to handle breaking news or last minute changes and things like that. Like, people think we just hop in front of a camera and we just make magic happen, but it's like, nah, a lot goes into that.
It's a lot. And I think the one thing that I underestimated the most about this, we all have lives outside of our work. We all, like, I'll never forget the day in local TV when I learned that my cousin Calvin was hospitalized in a car accident that morning. Throughout the day, as I'm trying to get my story ideas together and piece together these things and interview people and stuff, my mind is on that. I'm talking to family all throughout it, and I'm learning as the situation is getting worse and worse. And then at like 8 o'clock that night or so, I got the call that he had passed. And mind you, nobody at a TV station gave a damn. My producers definitely didn't. They was trying to figure out if I was going to make time slot. This was one of the closest deaths I'd had to me. Calvin was that's like my big homie. He called me head. I got a big head, and he just slapped me on the back of my head. But Cal was somebody who was near and dear to my heart, and to learn that, and then have to turn around and do some kind of VOSIDE or package or whatever I had to do that night. Like, I literally had to leave the newsroom, go sit in my news car, and cry like for a good 15 minutes, and mourn my cousin, and then snap a fingers, turn back around, and be a man and go, anchor the sports or do the news that night. And nobody gave a damn. And it's almost like you have to separate your human side from your professional side, which everybody has to do. I thought it was hard to do in TV. It's even harder in radio. You start to feel like not a human being anymore. You're like, what the hell is that? Like, there's something about this ain't right, but people don't care because they want their content, they want you. And that is probably the hardest part of the having to be there and sign up and do it every day. But I'm sure, again, same thing goes for professional athletes. Same thing goes for construction workers. Same thing goes for teachers, for doctors, for lawyers. It's just a different side of it for me personally, because you have to actually like talk and be yourself and be engaging. And it's all about this And it's hard to do this when you up here, you're everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I think I've been through some similar situations like that. Obviously, ours is a little different because it's not just we're talking and having to use our brain as much. It's more the physical thing. Like I remember when I was in Houston and I was on practice squad most of the year, and I finally had got my chance to bump up. But that same week, my great grandmother had passed, and it was just back and forth in my mind. Like, do I skip practice and possibly miss an opportunity to play in my first game, or do I go to this funeral? Um, or do I stay here, skip the funeral, and play in the first game? So I ended up missing the funeral, and I kind of got some regrets about that now. But that's just the pressure that is put on you in this league, and with your job as well, and every job I'm sure in the world, like whether I'm more committed to this job or I'm more committed to family, it's sometimes a decision that you're forced to make that you don't want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Look,
Oh.
we all got to juggle a lot of stuff. But not right now, we got to juggle like time and subject. So it's like, all right, we got to keep, life goes on. Life got to keep rolling. So we got you here. So now I want to talk to you about.
That's a great transition. Get this man on radio.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we got to do. You feel me? I talk a lot. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
he good right here. We're going to keep him right here. Come on, let's go.
Cozy, he ain't let me go nowhere. All right, so look, we got you here. So we want to talk about two sides to the athlete, the journalist relationship, and in this case, the media. So Gabe, I want you to punch up this video, and we'll break it down a little bit afterwards. So Gabe, go ahead, punch that up.
Hey, y'all, I got a DM today, y'all. I got a DM from a Dallas Cowboy player. Yeah, and it wasn't even Dak. All the years I can say it, man, you know what, the Dak and all this and that, it's not personal. But today it got personal from Trayvon Diggs, y'all. Oh, yeah, the starting cornerback. The star player of the Dallas Cowboys in my DM crying. Look at it. Check it out. Look what he said to me. The boy even threatened me, y'all. I thought the people from the other day was threatening me. No, the Dallas Cowboys. Crying. Yeah, in my DM. Coolio from Gangsta Paradise looking at it. Going the dark. Gums looking at it. I run like I got weights on my ankle looking at it. I can't cover a bed spread looking at it. I call you a hot Cheeto because you always get
So before I go to Theo to get
it.
his response on
Out
that,
of 140
we kind of talked about
quarterbacks
this.
in the NFL right
Why
now,
are
Trayvon
athletes
Diggs
so
ranked
concerned about what
107.
people are saying about this, especially following a bad game?
Hot
When
dog.
you know you can just admit, like, I had a bad game. What he said is right.
Bro, this is our second instance with Trayvon Diggs. He seems to this is sort of a pattern for him. He runs to his phone every time after a game and sees what people are saying, man. And Bubble Dub is not one to play with. He actually showed up to Pittsburgh Steelers training camp last year and did like a little bit for us, so he came in, he went around the room and just talked about everybody with no hose bar. But it was all in good fun, but he gonna go in on you every time. That's probably not a matchup you want right there, Trey.
Who did he call trash on the Steelers? Who did he go in on? What was the most memorable moment of that?
He didn't call nobody trash, but he was definitely like going in on Russ because that's an easy target. He was just talking his stuff about Russ and just like, hey man, well, we know you're gonna be better this year. You got Sierra on your arm, blah blah blah. Like so. He's hilarious, man. I gotta give him his prop, man. It's good entertainment right there.
Theo, when you see athletes clapping back at journalists and the former journalist in you, what comes to mind?
Just don't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. That's a fight you won't lose. Now, what I'll say is you can clap back at maybe like a journalist or reporter. That might be a little safer. I would never, ever clap back at a comedian. Why would you sign up for that battle?
No.
That is not this. That is the worst. Even if you want to get yourself a random internet troll, sure. But a comedian, dog, he signed up for punishment. He signed up for public humiliation. I don't think it's going to be a good season for him.
Look, so
he's never going to be able to shake that.
It's not. And so that being said, you see that interaction with Bubba Dub and Trayvon Diggs. Is that content for you on your radio show? Possibly.
Hell yeah, it is. And now I'm more aware of how trash Trayvon Diggs was in that game. I wasn't even paying attention to it before that happened. I don't know why. Sometimes it's like you got to think before you act. You got to think before you act. And what was he ever going to gain from DMing him? Does he think that he would have been like, I'm sorry, Mr. Diggs, can I get an autograph? Like,
Not a single thing.
Yeah, that's
I guess
wild,
he feel
man.
like he could threaten them or something.
And that's the thing. Like, I hope not, but I hope that was like he's 5 drinks in, watching something, and he's like, you know what, screw it. Like, I hope that was like a drunk text thing. I hope he wasn't in his right mind when he tried to slide in a comedian's DMs and ask him to stop threateningly. Like, that's silly. That's bad decision making. Kind of like what he was doing against the Giants. So I guess
See, Cole, we just calling it what it is. We ain't see it, but Bubba Dove put the film up for us, so now we got to talk about it. You feel me? That's how we operate sometimes, Cole.
Yeah, I can't even defend Trey on that. He got to do better. He got to do better.
But he need a publicist. All right, now speaking of somebody who probably has a publicist, Deion Sanders, and he's no stranger to the media. He's no stranger to bold takes, and he's no stranger to saying what's on his mind. And he had something to say about the media the other day when asked about who's his starting quarterback going to be. Gabe, go ahead, punch that
Report
up.
by Pete Thamel that Ryan Staub is the expected starter against Houston. Are you able to confirm that?
I'm not confirming nothing about that. We ain't like that. We good. We have capable guys. Staub has been doing a phenomenal job doing and getting the majority of the reps, but I haven't made that assessment and decision yet. You know, in today's media, we don't care about being correct anymore. We just want to be first. And there's no subjection to you when you're wrong. Nobody says nothing. You just go with it. I'm not saying that's the case, but that's where we are in media. Nobody gives a darn about being correct, being right. Everybody just want to be first. That don't make no sense to me. I would love the integrity that we once had with media. I would love that.
All right, so I saw that video, and I'm like, of course, Coach said that. Like, I can kind of see both sides, but I can also see the other side. Like, bruh, there are network analysts, and I'm sure Theo can speak to this, who they go beat you on everything. Like, we not trying to be first with that stuff. And he said in there, I don't think this is the case. So that means that whoever asked that question, they had a reputable source about that. Like, that is something that is legitimate. So if that guy goes out there and starts this weekend, it's like, why are you just going on a tangent like that? Because clearly they had they had an inside source. Somebody from your building told them that, like, gave them that scoop. So it's like, why are you sitting here going on a tangent about the media and the media don't do this? Like, clearly the media was right in this instance if that guy does go out and start this weekend. So, Theo, you first on this one, bro.
Remember when Adam Schefter broke that Tom Brady was gonna retire, and Tom Brady didn't like the fact that Schefter put it out there, so then he refuted it, and then 2 weeks later, Tom Brady retired. Yep. Like, this happens all the time. And if Staub starts for the Colorado Buffalo, I'm not listening to another word out of Coach Prime mouth rest of the season. Because you can't now he got to stand on business and just put anybody else out there and maybe put Staub in the second quarter to prove a point. Because how do you go on that level of tangent? And then in the middle of it, Ahmad, you said the key words. He walked it back by saying, I'm not saying this is the case. Mm-hmm. So what point are you making? Are you trying to distract us by it seemed like he's mad that the report came out earlier and he was ready to announce it. So instead of him answering that reporter's question about Pete Thamel's report, genuinely, he went on a tirade to distract from the actual point. He's moving the goalpost. I'm married. I know exactly what that looks like, and that's what he did. He changed the discussion.
Cole, you always got a lot of opinions about media and us being first and doing this and blah, 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 being wrong. So when you heard that, what'd you think?
Man, I think it's definitely the case that a lot of people act on impulse, you know, and we're not always checking the sources. It's sometimes secondhand news that we're getting from a guy like Shefty and just trusting his anonymous sources and trying to put it out there right after he does and report it as quickly as possible. Like, we can agree that some of that is going down.
I mean, yeah, but this is my argument for that, Cole. Schefter is getting his information from the teams themselves, GMs, scouts, head coaches. Like, you got to think, like, I'm here in Minnesota, right? So Christian Darrisaw tore his ACL, tore his knee up the whole thing last year versus the Rams on Thursday Night Football. I got confirmation the very next day that CD was done, but I got it from a source. But I was respectful. I said, yo, can I put this out? He's like, I don't know if you should put that out because, you know, he hadn't really, I don't know who all he's told yet, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with you putting that out. But he's like, wait until, like, you know, maybe 10 minutes, you know, wait until Kevin O'Connell's press conference, and then you can put it out. 10 minutes before Kevin O'Connell's press conference, Adam Schefter and Tom Pelissero put it out. Come on now. It's like sometimes we hold stuff. Like, I knew CD wasn't playing the first 3 weeks of the season, Christian Darrisaw. I found that out in June, July. I reported that. Nobody believed me. Nobody blew it up. Nobody was like, oh, yeah, Ahmad Hicks from Fox 9 Sports first reported that Christian Darrisaw is going to be out until, week 3 of the NFL season. But Tom Pelissero came out and said it. Adam Schefter came out and said it. And it's just like, so it's like I kind of digress a little bit with what Deion said, because it's like, I'm not in a rush to be first. I'd rather be right, though. So it's like, I'm going to wait, and then I can provide context. As our stations typically tell us, we know y'all not going to break a lot of news, but we want you to be able to quickly be able to verify that news. And I think that's the thing with local journalists compared to network journalists.
So you're saying there's no benefits to being first?
Not for us in local journalism. We don't get raises for that.
I was about to say, there would be assumed benefits. I could see why people think that there would be, but like Ahmad said earlier, nobody believes us when we're first.
No.
Like, it does not matter at all. Like, you could break something to us right now, and we could break it out there, and until Schefter or Woj or Pete Thamel or Pelissero or whoever your favorite breaking news guy says it, the world doesn't even confirm it or believe it, or neither does it get a notification. So it's funny, because if you look closely too, even at places like ESPN from within, there would be a basketball report that is vetted out and, fully sourced and everything, and backed by a beat writer for a team. But when that byline comes out, it's always a joint headline with who, Shams Charania. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shams was not in on that.
At all, bro. So that's what I'm saying. I just think that there's no benefit of us being first. There is a benefit of us being right. And Deion said, like, there's no consequences of being wrong. I disagree. Like, we can't go out there and make bold statements like that and break news and then just walk it back and be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I just made a mistake. Stations gonna be like, no, you can't keep doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like we have that luxury, like Deion explained or tried to say, because I feel like there are consequences if we come out and make bold takes like that and we're wrong.
Just social media will keep you in check. Like, people will continuously say, hey, this guy always gets it wrong. And there's a whole Twitter account, Frozen Takes Exposed or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's dangerous waters.
It is.
I wouldn't do it.
We got a guy out here, and I'm not going to say his name, but he comes out with a lot of takes. And I looked at one of his takes the other day about one player on the Vikings getting paid, and literally one of the first tweets was, this dude is wrong about everything. And it's like, so that's why I don't do it. It ain't worth it, I don't think. Cole, you got anything to add to that?
Fair enough, man. So I feel like the Shefties and the Shams, like, that's a whole nother side of journalism. How does one get to that level of, look, everything you put out is the truth? Like, how does that even happen? Because there's only how many guys is it like this? 4 or 5? Like, how do you get to that type of level?
You got Shams, Pete Thamel in basketball. You got Seth Hoops,
Andy Katz,
yeah.
Seth. It depends on the sport.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
These guys are like they're like Crown, like King Arthur. They have to pull the sword from the rock, and then it's like, okay, it's just him. We follow him. He's the guy. Like,
that's crazy.
And they work it all day.
Yeah, they are work. It is a job though that I do not envy at all.
Me neither.
That is what I will say. If you're ever around any of them and you see how glued to their phones they have to be, and how it's not. You are no longer a human being. You are a breaking news source, and that's cool for the audience and for the amount of money I'm sure you get paid, but I would not want to be in that scenario.
Yeah, like Adam Schefter even said, like, he has a personal driver now because he was trying to tweet and drive and break news and almost got in a car accident. And ESPN said, we want you on your phone all day long. So we're hiring the driver for you. And then Adrian Wojnarowski, who used to compete with Shams and, break all the stuff in the NBA, he basically came out and said, I'm done with this. I no longer want to be glued to my phone or calling the general manager at 3 a.m. to try and confirm an MRI report or something like that. So it's like, it's a tough business to crack, but you also got to be very trustworthy. Like, you got to work the sources. Like, it's hard to get to the level of credibility that some of these guys have who break news. And props to them, but it's not a job I would want, because you got to think that sometimes you breaking news before players even find out the news, or coaches, and then they looking at you sideways, and then you know, looked at as the bad guy because you just shared their news with the whole world, and they maybe didn't even have a chance to tell their family first. So, you know, they do break a lot of news. We love it in sports, so we can get updates, but I'm sure the players and families sometimes aren't too fond of those reporters.
Well, Ahmad, I feel that, bro. And their job might not be too fun, but I think our job is pretty dope, bro. So
Yeah.
one of the most fun parts of our job is this last segment here.
Look at Cole with the transition right there.
I was about to
Dang,
say,
Cole.
what y'all doing in
Cole.
here, dog?
Yes,
What y'all
sir.
doing? This is crazy. I'm
Yeah.
in my seat.
Kappa certified, baby. We gonna put 5 statements up, and my man Theo gonna tell us if it's cap or is it certified, man. And we gonna chime in too. So let's start with the first one.
All right, I got you. You want me to start it off, Cole?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Theo. Radio is harder than TV. Cap or certified?
Certified. Absolutely. Stamp it. Give me a big copyright C. Certified. I have never there's no the difference with TV and the radio is there are a team of people. There is visual aid to help guide your words. There's like, I'll say this. It is more difficult to be excellent in radio than it is to be excellent in TV. You could just do radio. It might not sound good. People might not care. They'll turn it off. And you could also kind of just do TV, even though I would say, like, at a basic level, that might be a little bit more difficult. But at the level in which you and I and you as well, Mycole, want to be excellent at your craft, it is so much more difficult with radio than it is with TV, especially given nowadays my radio show is also streamed digitally, and it's a visual component to it every day. And I have to think about graphics and lower thirds and engaging with the chat. And I have to think about like all of the other kind of TV sort of things. And there's still no teleprompter. So no shade to my TV guys. I'm still a TV guy at heart, but radio's
That's
tough.
what you're trying to say. Dang, we do stuff with
Radio's tough.
I'm certifying that too. I think coming up with topics for, like you said, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's tough, man. Like for me, it's kind of low hanging fruit. Like Vikings won yesterday. That's my storyline. Then I got to go get a soundbite. So I may have a 2-minute hit, but it's only like a minute because I'm tossing to a soundbite that's 45 seconds long or something like that. So I'm going to have to certify that one as well.
Yeah, obviously I'm gonna agree too. After hearing you describe your job today and then kind of seeing Ahmad's job in person, how he, maneuvers and gets through it so well. Yeah, I got.
I'm just smooth. That's all. I'm just smooth. That's
Yeah,
all.
You're watching a natural at work, is what he said.
For sure. All right, let's go to the next one.
All right.
So we heard you dibble dabble in this game a little bit. So golf is the most humbling sport.
Oh, goodness. I pass. I played the field. Nah, bro, certified for sure.
Oh.
Well, the issue with golf is it strips all of the advantage you would have for being athletic away. So it is the most humbling sport, especially to people who are used to being naturally good at sports because of your athleticism. And I think I personally, don't tell anybody I said this though, I think that's why a lot of mediocre athletes tend to glue themselves to it early. That's all I'm saying.
That's a bold take. That's a bold take.
That's why a lot of folks that realize I will never make it on the hardwood or on the gridiron, let me pick up this golf stick. No shade to them because it's a fun sport and I love it as well. But LeBron James was never going to grow up a golfer. Let's just keep it G.
I was so glad you brought that up because me and Cole talked about this before. Like one of the most athletic men, gifted in everything
Ever.
that he's done. But that man, when he hit that golf club and then he held his follow through like a baseball swing, I'm like, what are we doing? Like that was terrible. So I'm gonna have to certify that too.
Why would you waste those gifts on a golf course?
That is very true.
Don't do that.
Hey, me and Ahmad stepped out there not too long ago, and it wasn't that pretty. But I'm gonna be getting better, man. I'm gonna step out there with you one time. We all gotta go. Come on, man.
Yeah, the golf trip.
I'm saying I'm down to do it. I enjoy doing it. It just takes me a while to get through 18. As long as you're cool with that, we good.
Same with
we
us.
right there with you.
Yeah, we got to go find a couple golf balls and whatnot. We need a
a,
cart.
we need a few packs. We need a few packs of golf
I
balls.
buy a brand new pack every time I go golfing. So.
Right, and a 6-pack of beers. Just to get
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Maybe a couple shots too. All right, let's do this. Miami is the most distracting place to work/live.
Ooh, most that I have been in for sure. I'm trying to think if there's one that I could think of that would be worse in America. That's got to be certified, man. That's certified. It's always something to do, and I'm in West Palm, and Miami's about an hour and a half south of me, and I'm in and out of it every other week because of either events or parties or connections or things. So it's like there is the beach always calling your name. I feel like every month I'm on somebody's birthday boat. You know what I'm saying? Like legitimately, bro. Before Miami versus Florida this past weekend at Hard Rock Stadium. I'm all locked in and ready to go. I have a pregame show 5:30 with John Bostic. He's a former Florida Gator. I'm a Canes fan. I'm getting ready to go after it with him. Literally like hours. Like I want to say around like 11 a.m. or so. One of my buddies hit me up and reminds me like, "Hey, you on my birthday boat? You know, we getting out there about 12:30. You good?" I was like, "Dang." And so I had to make a business decision. And so, yeah, I went straight from the boat to the game that day. And it was about 4 hours on the boat.
I wasn't ready
right
for that.
off the boat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You don't turn down the birthday boat. Plus, it was en route to the stadium. So I drove down, got on the boat. They docked it up. They let me off of it right in time. I jumped in an Uber. I'm at the stadium. I'm ready to rock. But that's South
right
Florida,
there.
bro.
I ain't gonna lie, that's fine.
Cole, what you think, bro?
Man, gotta be, man. We always hear the stories about athletes going down to Miami and not making it in for curfew. And the next day, the game don't look that pretty. So, yeah, man, I'm a certified too.
I'm gonna have to certify too. I only been in Miami, South Beach once. It was Mycole actually, and I'll just say that we literally left the club as like the sun was coming up, and it was like, dang, like what is this? I was like, I looked at the watch, it's like 5 a.m. I'm like, clubs open till 5 a.m. down. I think it was like 3 a.m. We was inside, and I was like, all right, y'all ready to go? They like, club ain't closing yet. I'm like, they do this all the time? I'm like, this is nuts, bro. So, yes, that would be very distracting. My lady told me I can't go down there. So, yeah, she said we can't work there.
It was definitely my most distracting in ABJ. But disclaimer, I was single. Disclaimer, I was single back then. But
yeah, put that out there.
I remember being down there. Yeah, we were at the Miami Airlines Arena. Yeah, I was with Simone. That was a vibe, though. That was a vibe. All right. So, we never do this, but before we ask this next capper certified, we got a video we want to play first. So, let's check this video out.
There you go.
That's how you do it.
Way off walking at 99 miles an hour.
You said 99, right?
Oh, shit, yeah, that's upside down. That's good.
First pitches should be saved for real celebrities.
Cap.
Oh, man.
Cap,
So
I want to keep throwing, man.
we asked that because we've seen your first
thrown,
pitches.
I've thrown like 4 first pitches and keep them coming, baby, because I'm going to get better and better. That's the only time in life I get to throw a baseball.
You the go-to guy. Hey, hit up Theo. We got another first pitch coming up, man.
I've done it at Cardinals spring training. By the way, nobody in that damn stadium knew who the hell I was. They like, I don't know who this young charismatic fella is, but I was flexing and throwing the ball over the mouth. I've done it at Florida State League stuff, which is minor league ballpark stuff. No, we got to keep this sham I have going. And
Look, I'm right with Theo. Like, look,
love it.
Look, I've only thrown out one, and it happened to be like at something called a town ball, which is really just like a local community baseball game, between another community here in Minnesota. And I threw a lollipop, but it went straight down the plate. You feel me? Ain't nobody drop it, So it's like, look.
We need the footage.
I got to go find it. They said I threw a curveball, but I'm like, I ain't throwing no curve. It just went up in the air so it can go straight. My other guy, co-anchor, he tried to throw a rocket. That ball bounced in the dirt. And I'm like, why you trying to do too much, bro? Just get it straight, get it to the plate. That's all. So I'm capping that, Cole. I think we local celebrities, we deserve an opportunity. You feel me?
For sure, man. And I'm the only one here that hasn't thrown the first pitch, which is crazy. So I need to test my skills a little bit, man. But I see celebrities all the time, and they can't get it nowhere near the plate. So hey, if y'all can do better than that, do your thing.
Hey, you got holla at me. I can get you one of these ballparks down there, man.
Say less. I need a trip to Florida anyway. Shit.
Yeah, they always look for somebody, man.
All right,
Clearly they're always looking for somebody.
Look, call Cole. We got some free time coming up. All right, last one.
All right, let's go ahead and finish it out with this, man. And this is a question that I asked Ahmad.
I'm staying quiet.
Too long ago. This is a question that I asked Ahmad not too long ago, and it did some numbers. And I want to get your opinion on this because his take was kind of crazy. I want to know, can a journalist get 1 yard in an NFL game?
We talking like a bubble screen? What we talking? Like, we talking inside zone? Are we?
Say context is needed right now, Theo.
What position you want to play? You want to play receiver or running back?
Here's the thing. So here's what I will say. Like, am I behind the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line going against the Cowboys?
Thank you.
You know, like I need context to this because it won't look pretty at the end of it. I might even fumble the ball, but yards before contact is a real stat. like maybe at the mesh point, like let's say I'm in the backfield with Lamar Jackson. Maybe if you're the defensive end, you're more threatened by Lamar at the mesh point. He hands that thing off, and I can pick up 2 yards and fall down. Like. It can happen. It can happen. Yes, it can happen. And matter of fact, I could do it. I have to be on the Ravens, and I want to be going up against who's a miserable run defense right now. I think the Cowboys is all I can
or the
think
Cincinnati Bengals too.
See, Ahmad said he had to be in his prime, but you're saying that you can do it right now.
Today. Here's the thing. This is not me saying I am good. This is me saying that offensive line, I trust them. I trust Lamar to be a bigger threat than me in the backfield. And all I'm saying, you said 1 yard?
1 yard. We talking about 3 feet.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they block it right, if I don't, that's their fault.
That's what I'm trying to say, man.
I feel you.
I will get you all Rolexes afterwards. Just block it correctly. I will follow whatever. I need a week of practice.
Okay, let's say this. They blocked it up correctly. But you get one-on-one in the hole with a linebacker. Could you make it miss?
No.
No. Wait. Before you say that, how deep is the linebacker? Is the linebacker 5 yards? Because if
he's 5 yards. He's trying to meet you at the line.
Okay, so I'm saying we both coming from 5 yards then, right?
Yeah.
Theo, you answer.
Well, wait.
You think you're gonna run through him, Ahmad?
No, I never said that. I never said that. No, don't.
Can I get Trevion Diggs instead of the linebacker?
Yeah, give us a toss play. Let's run towards the corner. They don't like to tackle. You feel me? Cole has said that on his podcast. They don't like to tackle.
They don't like to tackle.
A wide receiver screen? Come on, give me a bubble screen.
It's possible.
A little RPO alert.
There are some athletic journalists.
We have to put this to the test one of these days, bro.
You know what this dude Cole told me after I said that last time? Cole, Ahmad, we should get you in some pads and go out there and go. I'm like, bro, what the hell you think this is? Like, what? No, I'm not putting no pads on no more.
No,
absolutely not.
But
let's just run a mental simulation. All I'm saying is, y'all.
Look, you trying to play Madden? I can get you on the Madden.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to come to an end. I'm with Theo though. I'm certifying that though. Cole, I don't care what you think. Don't nobody care what you got to say, Cole. I'm certifying that 1 yard.
I'm trying to gang up on you.
It's some athletic journalists in this world. Some big journalists that used to play ball. You feel me? And it's journalists that used to be athletes. So look, a journalist, we ain't specify who, can get 1 yard. That's certified.
Certified.
Yeah, all right, man. Hey, man. Well, Theo, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure, bro. You talked some good stuff today, man, and I appreciate all the knowledge you dropped, brother.
Nah, Cole, Ahmad, I appreciate y'all having me, man. Love what y'all doing too. So let's keep this thing flowing and stop killing me on the transition games. Y'all gonna get me fired.
Hey, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody tuning in too. Theo, keep doing your thing down at ESPN West Palm Beach. If you got some time, bring our boy Mycole on whenever he down in Florida. Get him connected with a first pitch. Let him get that experience one time so we can see just how athletic dude really is.
We gotta make it sick now. That's what I'm saying. If I gotta go get a yard, you gotta do that first pitch.
Say less. That's easy money for me, boy. Hey, I do it all. Ahmad, tell him I do it all.
He lacks no confidence, Theo. He lacks. There's nothing. He is very talented, but that's all I'm gonna say. He's talented. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, follow, share it to a friend, all that. That's Theo Dorsey, Mycole Pruitt. I'm Ahmad Hicks. That's the Must Be Two Sides podcast. Check y'all out later.
Love, bro.
Stand for the truth, otherwise take a knee. Made it to the league, now we gotta take the lead. Touchdown, Mycole Pruitt. Sports Now, I'm Ahmad Hicks. Must be two sides.